Welcome back, everybody. It is December 1st of 2022, and this is episode 48 of What is on My Desk. So here we are back, everybody, for another one of my monthly What is on My Desk updates, and quite a bit to show you. I got some new tools to show you, and I got some extremely good progress on these 5 kits. A lot more than I expected. I did get a lot of free time this month, and I'll show you all of that in a little bit. Before we get too far into this, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. So just before we get into this video, I do want to say thank you for everyone out there who is watching this channel right now. I appreciate all of what you do coming over to watch this. Every little bit helps. If you haven't yet and you do like what you're seeing, go down below, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you do want to be notified when I have new videos coming out. I try to get a couple a month, 4, maybe 5 a month, depending on how things go. And all of those little things do help the analytics, help this channel grow, and help me get this channel out to more people who want to see this content. Now, if you choose to help out in a bit more of a concrete way, something a little bit more than just a click of the mouse, then down below you'll see a link in my description here, and you can head over and you can buy me a coffee. I actually don't have my coffee. It's upstairs right now, but I almost always have a coffee going. And if you do feel like buying me a coffee, please do. Don't feel obligated. I don't want you feeling like I'm begging you for money, because I'm not. That's not the point of this channel. I'm here to have fun. I'm here for you to see all of this cool stuff that I get to do and get to see. And that is the reason behind this channel. But every little bit helps, and I do incur costs, and I'd like to try to offset those if possible. But on that note, let's get swung over and let's take a look at the progress of everything going on over here. Okay, so before we get over to the models, I'll quickly do a little bit of an update on the new tools I bought. One of them is pretty cool, a little bit pricey. One of them was very inexpensive. Both of them are very niche tools that aren't necessarily going to be worth it for anybody to purchase. The first one I'll show you, which is the cheaper of the two, are just a simple set of watercolor brush pens. So basically, these are like 10 or 12 bucks on Amazon. They delivered in 24 hours. So at the end of the day, you know, they were definitely worth it. So the way these work is they come in different sizes. I'm not sure what the numbers denote, but there's different size tips on each brush. It's got a nice cover to protect them. And the brush itself unscrews. You fill this with water. You put it back together, and you push on this little flat spot. When you squeeze the brush, the water works its way down into the bristles and moistens the brush. Now, it seems kind of like a useless product, but I ended up using them for decals. As you squeeze and apply, the brush stays moist. You're not dipping a paintbrush in water. You're not using the same brush for multiple things. These brushes just get used for water, for decals. So you can brush the surface of the model. It lays down a little bit of water. You can put your decal on it. It works out well. The other thing, which I discovered while using these, using the fine tipped brush, it's a nice pointy tip. You can get in there, and if a decal slides or moves or is in the wrong place, you can just get a little bit of water right where you need it, loosen that decal up, and move it around. If a decal folds over on itself, this is great because it's wet. The decal isn't going to stick to it. You can get in, you can flip the decal, you can do whatever you need to do to get that decal to do its thing, and you're not using a sharp point of a knife or tweezers or anything like that. And because it's self-moistening, you're not constantly worried about, you know, the decals sticking to the brush if the brush is dry. Now, I'm not going to take credit for this. I actually saw this on another YouTube channel, Gary's Stuff. Great channel, just an ordinary bloke doing ordinary things, and he does a lot of Airfix models. I saw it from there. I'll have a link up in the corner for his channel. Check it out. Shout out to him. You know, no sponsorship at all. I saw the idea. I thought it was a good idea. I looked up these parts, like I said, 10, 12 bucks, whatever they were. Did not cost a lot. If it was a complete, you know, waste of my time, I'm in for 10 or 12 bucks. And you know what? I know enough artists. I could pawn these off and use it. But yeah, if these didn't work out, you know, 10, 12 bucks, I could pawn them off to a number of artists I know and it would not have been a complete waste of my money. But they worked, and I'm happy with them. I was been using them on the 109s. You'll see you can see the tip of the camera here. You'll see the progress soon. So I used them on that, and they worked out quite well. Now, the other tool I bought was a bit pricier. It was on Amazon. It's 3D printed. Not Amazon, sorry, eBay. It's 3D printed, and it is basically a stand for working on models. Now, it was pricey. I'll show you in a bit everything that came with it. I bought more of like the deluxe model, and it gave me different sizes and more abilities. But basically, you can see you can loosen off the nut, and you can adjust the stands that way for size. On the side of each one, you can loosen off, and you can adjust the height of these little parts. Now that I've messed with it, it's not going to work. You can see, for example, my daughter's Corsair that she's building. If you wanted to work on it like that, you could loosen everything off. Right, you can do that. So you can tighten that down about there. And then you could bring this in. All right, lower these down. So you can see how you can adjust. So there, you can adjust the model, and it sits in there quite snugly. All right, it's a pretty nice snug fit. It's not going to go anywhere. You can sit here, you can do whatever work. If you need to do any type of painting, you can get in here and you can paint. You can do decals. You can glue bits on. You could be gluing on antennas. You have two hands. One hand can be holding tweezers. Another can be holding a string. You're not worried about the model, flopping all over the place. And because it is adjustable, you can quickly readjust it for whatever model you're working on. Like I said, the base model of this, I want to say it's maybe $30 or $40. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up again. But this version was just over $100 Canadian. And the reason why it was so expensive is because you also get all of this. Tons and tons and tons of additional parts. You've got super long fuselage holders. You've got clamps. Well, there's another one. So these are the short ones. These are the long ones. If you have a bigger aircraft and you want a bigger standoff, it gives you significantly more height to put a bigger aircraft in there. It comes with these little attachments that fit onto the side here. I don't have to remember how it goes. Yeah, it goes like this. It clips on, but it gives you the ability to do biplanes, triplanes. It's angled, so you can do different angles for whatever reason. It gives you all of this ability to adjust biplanes, triplanes, even, you can't really do quadruple planes because this is glued like this. But you can loosen this off, and it gives you the ability to adjust wings for different sizes. You can do, there's all of this flexibility in it. So it's amazing what you get out of this. So as I said, there's the two pieces. It comes mounted, but I took them off because I don't need those right now. You also get bigger versions if you're doing a larger scale airplane. You have a much larger version here now to do something else. If you, like I said, bigger aircraft, you've got 1/32 or 1/48 or whatever, or 1/24. You've got these extensions. So these actually clip into here and screw into these screws, and then you extend out and you have longer reach, and it gives you 4. So you have enough to extend out pretty much every end and almost double the distance in all 4 sides to make this significantly larger for if you do have larger airplanes. And it also comes with little brackets. So these two are for the larger one. These two are for the smaller one. So I took the screws off because I don't plan on using them right now. But you can see how these screws just fit into this existing space right here, into these holes. And you have a clamp, so you can actually squeeze and clamp the wings and hold the model down tight, and you can get up and you can move the aircraft around because it is actually going to be, you know, legitimately clamped into the wing. And you can do both wings, you can set everything up, and then it doesn't go anywhere. And along those lines, you also get clamps for the fuselage. So you can actually clamp a fuselage down. If this was mounted like this and this was going to be in its spot, it's very difficult to do because the prop is already on, but you could theoretically clamp the nose down and hold the nose, the tail, the wingtips. You could clamp a model in super securely and have all of this ability to do whatever you needed to do on the model without fear of the model moving. And you finally have this one for the back. So you have all of this freedom to do what you need to do to make the aircraft and this bracket use it for what you want. So I've got the basic setup, which I have here. Then you've got your 4 clamps to clamp the model down. You get the extendable front and back for the larger sized aircraft. You get the adapters on either wing that allow you to do biplanes, triplanes, whatever you need to do there to set angles. And then you get effectively all the same parts again, but in a larger form factor if you're going with a larger sized scale, and you get the extensions for each side. Like I said, all of this was about $100 Canadian. It comes with everything you see. It comes with, it's 3D printed. It comes with all the hardware. It comes with everything. Why is that loose? Downside, it is extremely easy to lose some of these little bits if you're not careful, like I am just about to do, because I am missing, there it is right there, the one on this piece was a little loose, so it came off, and you got to make sure it doesn't go missing. But anyways, for what I paid, I don't, I might not use it very much, but when I do need it, it is going to be extremely helpful, especially when it comes to the, decaling, gluing on antennas, that kind of stuff. It's going to become very helpful. Like, it doesn't really want to go anywhere. These are like a little soft, foamy nonstick. So the plane really, really doesn't want to go anywhere. So it's super easy to get 2 hands, put a decal on, the plane's not rocking, especially if you want to work on an aircraft upside down. Having this ability to not have the plane rocking from wingtip to wingtip when you want to work on something upside down, unbelievably helpful. Just being able to work on it like that, pinch the wings, and do what you need to do. So for what it cost me, it was definitely worth the investment. So I guess at that point, those are the 2 new tools I have added to the workbench. So at this point, let's get ready to go. We'll take a look at the progress on those 5 109s. So here we go. Okay, so here we are at the desk. Take a good look at where I am with the models. Now, I've kind of gone off in a slightly different direction with how I do these, and that's because I have 5 models that I'm building, and they're kind of in 3 different classes. There's the 2 that are going to be built with the wheels down. There's 2 that's going to be built with the stand. Then there's the 1 that I still need to do a bit of modification on to get to the final product. So I've kind of broken off, and I've focused on getting a couple of them finished one-on-one and then move on to the others. So at this stage, I actually have the 109E finished. It is completely done. Everything. I mean, it's a completed model. It's actually living over on my shelf right now just to get it out of the way. Part of the reason, as I said, why I did this was just to allow me, it's kind of hard when you're working on 5 models and you're trying to get to the finish line. It's very easy to miss things, to cut corners, not intentionally, but to forget things, to miss things. When you're focusing on multiple models, oh, I'm doing this, I got to get it done on that one. And you jump the gun and you do it on another model out of order, and you get yourself stuck into a corner. So by focusing on just finishing the model, I made sure that I didn't miss any of the little details that I needed to do on it. So it looks really, really good. I'm very happy with how this turned out. No issues at all with the assembly. Everything kind of went together the way I expected it to. It looks great. Weathering is there's some issues. I'm not really going to go into them, but there are a few issues with the weathering that I'm a little unhappy with. But overall, I'm really happy with it. And I did touch off the final bit with a little bit of this. It's an elastic thread, easy line that I use for the antennas here. So it's super easy to get that glued in and make it look right. And it just looks super, super good. Another reason why I decided to kind of split off and finish this one, to be perfectly honest, I'm running out of space on my computer. When I do my time-lapse videos, I record all the construction of the kit. I transfer that footage to the computer. I build up my time-lapse videos. When I'm done, I just delete the footage. I'm very rarely ever going to need to go back and reuse the footage of me building this kit once the time-lapse is done, because I can use the time-lapse itself if I need to go back and reference anything. So I tend to delete the footage. So by clearing up that footage, it allows me to have a bit more space to work with the rest of it. Now, that being said, this opens up a bigger can of worms with computer storage and server and where I'm going to go with everything. But that's a battle for future me. Right now, I'm just worried about getting through these kits. So this will allow me to focus on getting the time-lapse for this finished. It also gives me some early content to get released. So the time-lapse for this E model might actually be uploaded on the channel before I finish all 4 of the other ones. I might have 1 or 2 done, but by the time this should be uploaded before I finish the rest. But either way, it looks really good. I managed to get a lot done in the last month. I actually did manage to get a few days off of work, and I spent that time off of work almost exclusively working on these models just to get through. I knew I had a lot to do, and I had the time and I had the drive, and I knew if I didn't take the time to do it, I probably never would have. It would have taken me a lot longer. So that's what I did, and I did manage to get this E model finished and out of the way. And then the G model is what I've been focusing on recently, and it will look significantly different to many of you out there. It is in a very good place right now. As you can see, it's decaled, it's weathered, it's got the whitewash applied. I've got the landing gear glued on. I'm currently working on the flaps and slats. I've got half of them on already. I've just got the lower half to do here and the forward slats to put on. And then there's just a few little minor, I mean, my spare parts are getting significantly lower. All I have are a few antennas to glue on, and then it's going to be ready for its flat coat. The prop is already assembled. So I mean, it basically just pops on. So all I really need to do is just glue on a few antennas, glue the prop on, some flaps and slats, flat coat this, and then do the last little bit of weathering on it, and then it will be complete. So it has moved along quite well. The other ones are going to be significantly farther along than you have seen them, but not quite as far as the other two. So the Avia and the Bouchon are both at this stage. Glossed, decaled, a little bit of weathering has been applied, and that's about all I've done. I've been picking away at a few small things here and there as I've been working, along with some other steps to get stuff done. But basically, I still have to drill the holes. So I need to drill the hole for the mounting rod. Got to get that done. And then a few little things I got to paint, like this is going to be painted black. I got to glue the props on. A few of the little antennas and the gun barrels and stuff like that need to be mounted to this. And then it will get flat coat and then mounted to the base, and I still need to finish the bases. So that, and then I'll be doing that and the Avia concurrently, because it's basically the same steps. I need to drill the hole, I need to mount it to the base, I need to get the bases finished, I need to get the props and some final antennas mounted, and then I need to do a flat coat and then glue them to their bases. So both of these, once I get that G model finished, those two should be done relatively quickly. And while I'm working on that, especially on the bases, because there's not much I can do while I'm waiting for those, I'll be working on the N model. And this is where I got with the N model. I'm calling it the N model for naval. I'm sure the Germans would have called it something different. Probably the K for Kriegsmarine, or M for Marine, who knows. Anyways, I've still got to build the wing hinge mechanism, which for the most part is just going to be a piece of bent wire that I will use to hold the wings up, and then a strut I'll use to make sure the wings stay in the proper orientation. But I got to build that out. I got to glue the wheels on. I got to glue the prop on. I've got to paint up the drop tank and get the drop tank mounted. It's just going to be bare aluminum, so it's not going to be very hard to do, but I got to get that glued up and finished. And then that's pretty much it, really. It's going to be prop, wheels, a little bit of weathering, drop tank, and then flat coat, and then get the wings to fit. I might even do the wings before the flat coat, but just not mount them to the end. So there's a few little steps left to do. I'll probably get that G model finished, and once it's out of the way, I'll focus on these last three kind of concurrently because the steps are a little bit less, and I'm not too worried about that. But that is the status of the models. So there's only a little bit left. So within the next week or two, I should have all of these finished, and then I can introduce the next kits. They're actually tucked away down here out of sight right now. But I do have the next kits. There are going to be 4 of them that I have selected that I will be, move that in there so you guys can't see them yet. 4 kits that I'll be building up, so you get to see those probably in the next month. The January 2023 update, new year, new set of kits. So that's what I'll introduce those. But that is where we stand. So as always, thank you everybody for watching this video. As I said, I've already kind of hinted at what's coming up next. I'm going to have 415 Squadron History should be completed and up by the middle of December. And I'll have the time lapse for the E Model 109 done soon. And then the rest of these shouldn't be too much longer after that. And I'll have content for the next couple of weeks releasing all of this, plus the introduction of the new models. And then I also have one more built model video that I have completed, and I just have to pick a release date for that. So I've got content kind of up until the end of January into early February, just with this stuff, and then we'll see where we get from there. I'm hoping to get some new stuff done before then. So on that note, everybody, again, thank you for watching the channel, and we'll see you all next time.